2. We're going back in time because there are no good ads anymore. The good ads were made back in the 70s.
Late 1970s. Modern ads are rubbish. Aren't they? Aren't they just?
Vaughn Davis from tgf.co.nz with ad social media and aeroplanes, and he's bought in the New Zealand Crunchy train, which there'll be a whole generation growing up now. I have no idea what that is.
I know, and that's what's wrong with the youth of today.
Isn't it just? They don't know.
There'll be a lot less Occupy Auckland and a lot more, sitting down and working hard if they've seen the Crunchy ad.
Down at the local,
yes.
The local cafe, they've got a really old Crunchy wrapper, and it must be probably from about the time of that ad. No ingredients on it.
Excellent.
At all.
Contains crunchy, made with 100% crunchy. Oh, I love that ad. I mean, look, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Crunchy Bar train ad, look it up. It's part of your heritage, people. But the ad's about 90 seconds long, and it's an ad of its time. It would never run today. It contains smoking. It contains people dressed as Arabs back when it was cool to portray. Well, it was the last time it was cool to portray villainous Arabs.
And the whole cowboys and Indians,
cowboys and redskins, and dirty Germans with their 88mm guns,
and it was done on the Kingston Flyer.
It was, and a rip snorting soundtrack, absolutely brilliant.
Another great one was the old Dear John.
Same director, yeah, filmed in Wellington. This one,
a little bit of that.
Dear John, oh how I hate to write. Dear John,
Shirley.
I must let you know tonight that my...
What was it for again?
It was for BASF cassette tapes.
Oh, what's the cassette?
Yeah, and the guy was the song from his ex-girlfriend was being played on his sort of Walkman thing, which is about the size of a Yellow Pages.
This was around the time of the Pixie Caramel ad as well.
Oh, yeah.
The longest chew?
We could go on and on. Any last requests? yeah. It's brilliant. That probably featured dodgy Arab people as well, I'm not sure. Yeah. That's right. Any escapes.
Nice stuff. All right, moving on to ads today. Last week we were talking about Rico's murder.
Yeah, and sprung. It turns out that the villain was none other than one of his competitors.
Yeah. I'm looking at an ad featuring what's his face again?
Richard Simmons. Turns out Richard Simmons did it in a fit of jealousy over the fact that Rico could do more star jumps than him. I guess we always knew it wasn't going to be Paul Henry because cynically, Paul Henry in your YouTube video is not going to get as many search references as Richard Simmons.
That is true.
Yeah. But the interesting aspect to this is that the interviewer, the policeman here, is the puppeteer who played Rico.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rico, of course, doesn't come back to life or anything miraculous at the end of that video.
No, he doesn't. Well, he certainly doesn't because the Air New Zealand account is up for pitch as we speak, as we mentioned last week. So, we may not see him again.
Okay. Creating controversy once again. 'Tis the season for St. Mathews and the city billboards.
Yeah, where would the Auckland advertising industry be without this kind of client? You remember them from such billboards as iGod and... God being a hard act to follow. Came out this year with I believe they've switched agencies to Wyburn, just up the road, and come out this year with the Virgin Mary pregnancy test, which is getting a lot of chat.
Which is up now outside the church. Now they're a client, but are they? What do you call a client that doesn't pay?
If you're charitable, you call them a pro bono client, and if you're not, you call them a scam.
So,
they've got a long tradition of inspiring and eliciting strong creative work from Auckland agencies. First M&C Saatchi and now Wyburn.
And it's an opportunity for the agency to let loose, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Be very creative, and the church seems to allow them to do that.
Yeah, well, this particular church is long courted controversy, and so it's a good match.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll be expecting paint to be thrown on that, or for it to be torn down.
It's probably not quite offensive enough.
Well, they tried on the news item last night about it. They, for some reason, the reporter wanted to go down the line that it probably is offensive, and let's see how many people I can get saying it's offensive.
Yeah, how offended are you? Are you really offended? Yeah,
Well,
not that offended.
not really. It's cool. I like it.
It's pretty cute.
Okay, moving on. What's up next?
Well, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about aeroplanes? We've got some
Yeah.
cool aeroplane news. So this is Paul Allen, the 57th richest man in the world, which still makes him quite a lot richer than you and me. It's sort of been overshadowed by Richard Branson's involvement, but the whole, the Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2 thing that, is about to go commercial was built on the foundations of a project that Paul Allen initiated back in the late 90s called Spaceship One. And he teamed up with a dude called Burt Rutan, who's a sort of a genius home-built aircraft designer. And this sort of composite home-built technology led to Spaceship One and Spaceship Two, which Richard Branson's now making. And yesterday, Paul Allen invented something which he calls the Strato launch, but we choose to call the Space Moose.
Why is that?
We'll take the Space Moose, Smithers. You may remember the Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns went all Howard Hughes on it and created the Spruce Moose. Well,
Yeah.
the Strato launch is sort of the big and almost real version of the Spruce Moose. It has a wingspan of 380 feet, and the way it works is it, with its 6 Boeing 747 engines, it lifts a big fuck-off rocket into the high atmosphere,
Yeah.
where it can then be launched into orbit. And the thinking is, and this is the same thinking behind Virgin Galactic, it's really hard for a rocket to take off from ground level
down,
because the
yeah.
air's very thick. There's a lot of drag and there's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So use a technology we already have, a really mature technology of high altitude airplanes, and just carry on up there and launch it from 40,000 feet. And you'll remember, if you're a fan of the right stuff, this is how the old X1 that
Yes.
first broke the sound barrier. That's how
Yeah.
that same thinking.
Yeah,
And we
exactly.
have sort of abandoned that for 40 or 50 years, and now we've come back to it.
We're using all these large rockets and fuel to get
but
it off
now
the ground.
now we're back to this, the Space Moose.
And this isn't about space tourism, is it? This is actually about space travel.
Yeah, this is about a commercial replacement for the space shuttle, because and it's driven partly by patriotism too, because Americans are a bit embarrassed that the only way to the International Space Station at the moment
Through
is
the
via a
Russians.
Russian rocket.
Yeah. And then the little, it's kind of a splashdown actually to get back down. It's a little capsule.
Yeah.
It don't
It's
land.
with sort of retro rockets and parachutes
Yeah.
onto the Russian steppe. How do you say it? Steppe?
Is it?
STEPPE?
Well,
Steppe.
oh.
The steppe.
Oh, where you land.
Yeah, the empty plains of
wa-
Russia.
The bit on the map where you throw a dart and you go, what the heck is
Yeah,
there?
what was that?
Yeah.
There's no lines, no dots. Hey, speaking of patriotism, though,
Yeah.
Speaking of patriotism, Petone represent.
Yes.
Read, Write, Web, which is a wildly popular sort of IT website founded in 2003 by a guy in Wellington called Richard McManus.
Yes.
Has been sold.
The most followed guy on Twitter in New Zealand, or at least was.
Oh, was he?
Still is, yeah.
Oh, who knew?
Well, through the Read Write Web.
Yeah,
account.
through the account. So this website, you've got the address. It's just rww. Oh, sorry, no, it's readwriteweb.com. RWW for short. Has been going since 2003. He has 20 writers and editors, mainly in the United States, because that's where their audience is. 5 million page views per month, whatever that means, because when you're selling, you sort of tend to optimize your stats. But he's sold to a media company in the States, and from Petone to the world.
It's
He's
kind of the New Zealand TechCrunch, Engadget, Mashable.
Yeah, it is. But it's not really it's not New Zealand
No,
at all.
no.
It's in anything other than its PO box.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool.
He's sold.
Yeah, he's sold.
Wow.
He's sold.
And we don't know figures.
We don't know for how much, and he's not saying. But there might be a couple of slightly flashier than usual cars driving up and down Jackson Street, Petone, in the near future.
Yeah. And one will be left to wonder what project he will get into next.
Yeah, well, from what I read, he's got no intention to stop, his involvement with Read, Write.
Good.
Read, Write. Maybe Job 1 will be changed the name of it. I don't know.
Well, you'll find this chat as a video once more up at tgf.co.nz. And Vaughn Davis on Twitter as well. Follow his antics over the holidays because he won't be back for 2011. We'll see you in the new year.
Okay.